That seems good. So anyways, we're again back in No Man's Sky, and the reason I'm doing this video very abruptly is because I'm in a space battle, and I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about this a little bit, and at least in this video there should be some fun space battles while I yammer on for a while. But the space battles have an issue that I've been running into a lot. It probably won't happen at this point in time because I actually want to win this one, but I will be talking about it while I have the chance. But anyways, we have a cool freighter here that I would really like to look into, and I'm fighting the pirates off. And the problem is that I can't say I love or hate how they've adjusted the space battles. I find it a little bit more irritating that I'm glad that you don't automatically lock on and fire behind you. And I like the idea that shooting from behind does more damage and everything, but I find it a little too hard, like right there, to land a hit, especially with the new rockets, which I should have shown you there, but they won't fire more than once. If I fire the rocket and let it cool down here, as you can see, I'll hit it again and they won't fire. You can resolve that issue by merely cycling to the next weapon, but still, that's a frustration because I've had a lot of times where I've had a good hit lined up and it wouldn't fire. However, that's not the issue I want to talk about. The issue I want to talk about with space battles is that, as you know, that once you're done battling the pirates away from the freighter, and you get a nice little mission here with a counter of how many are left. And I'm not too bad about doing this, but what I am bad about is not hitting one of the friendlies or the freighter itself. That is far too easy to accidentally do, especially since many of the pirates, as you can see here, are flying relatively close to the freighters, and I've even noticed at some points in time they will fly through the freighter and be inside, making it impossible for me to hit them. But what ends up happening is if you even lightly graze or fire one missed shot that hits an ally or the freighter itself or one of the other freighters. See right there, I was firing and that guy flew in between my laser blasts, and I may have hit him, I don't know. But what ends up happening is, and there it just targeted a freighter for no reason. There's one right now that's flying inside of the freighter. I can't see, he just phased out of the freighter. So I couldn't hit him without hitting the freighter, no matter what. And I've seen a lot of people complain about this issue, and people are like, oh, you know, you're just not good at space battles if you can't avoid hitting the freighter. But no, like, you literally can't when the ship is flying inside. And sometimes the weapons, even though you're locked on to another ship, sometimes those weapons will still target an ally and will actually lock on and hit the ally, missing your intended target. And then what ends up happening there, and I avoided it this time, but it has been happening to me very frequently. It happened to me just recently, in fact, yesterday, I believe. When you hit the freighter, even if you don't do a lot of damage or it's just a mild hit, the freighter stays on lockdown even after you've defeated all the pirates. It now considers you a pirate and will no longer let you land. It'll even tell you, go speak to the captain, but the hangar bay has gone red and is locked. And I would have loved to have shown you that error, but I actually want this freighter. So we're gonna go and talk to the captain and see if we can buy it. But while I'm doing that, I'm gonna talk about the issue here, and that is that's a very unfair thing because the combat isn't fine-tuned enough to avoid accidentally damaging the freighter. Now, if I was to, say, destroy a turret or fully destroy a cargo container or fully destroy an ally, that I might understand them going on lockdown. But merely grazing one of the many pylons hanging off of the freighter, which happened to be yesterday. I was shooting at a spaceship and those big wings that you can see out the window there, I hit one of those and the freighter, which is orange right now, so it seems like it's on lockdown, but one of those pylons I just happened to hit with a laser blast, and that was the only time that I contacted with the freighter, and the rest of the battle took place far away from the freighter. Yet afterwards the freighter was still on lockdown and there was nothing I could do, and there was no option to buy the freighter. And being that freighters like this only appear in space battles, that was really disheartening. So let's talk to this guy and see about buying the freighter, and if this works, yeah, I'll take the supplies. I'm not sure if buying the freighter straight up and refusing the supplies leads to a lesser price tag, but we're gonna just hopefully see here what his price tag is. If it's too much or it's not an improvement. 27 slots. Oh, that's a shame. That is a really cool looking freighter, but that's unfortunately a downgrade. I am at 31 slots right now, and 27 slots would be a downgrade. But it is a really that's really unfortunate because this is a bigger freighter than the one I currently have, and it's worth a lot more money, which is another issue I made a video for, but I never released the video. But this is a good chance to talk about this. I've had this problem work both ways, where the freighter is less valuable than my current freighter, but it tells me I owe money, and it has less slots. I might be able to insert a clip of that because I still have that video. Oh, he wants 60 million for it. Well, I mean, I have 60 million, but it's only got 27 slots. Let's see what that is compared to my current freighter. Not good, because I have 31 slots, and he has 27, and I have a B class, and he's a C class. Now, wait a minute. So clearly this freighter is a downgrade to my freighter. Why do I have to pay 60 million units for it? In fact, my freighter is it is $9 million more expensive than this freighter. So why do I have to pay 60 million units for it? But yeah, as you can see, the price difference is very different, yet this is a downgrade and it wants an even trade. Now, I also talked in that video that I didn't release about how irritating it is that you don't get a profit back if you sell a starship or freighter for a value greater than the cost of the freighter you're trading for. That seems like a very big missed mechanic where you could actually play the game as a salvager of spaceships, or like I would love to do that. I would love to play the game as a salvager of spaceships and go and find crashed spaceships, fix them up, and then sell them for a profit, and then use the cheaper ship I received for the profit to trade out for the next salvage ship. That's gameplay that I could be doing. It could be fun to upgrade and repair a ship, and that could be your job for getting to the center of the galaxy, as you have many jobs you could do. You could be a miner, a pirate, can we stop him from talking? Thank you. That's a missed opportunity, but the value system seems completely arbitrary because it's constant that I find myself finding ships that have a value for less than my current ship, but it still says they want money for the trade, even when it's a clear downgrade. Yet I don't get money back for buying something that is a downgrade, and the value is less. That's a missed opportunity, but that's an unfortunate side effect here, that even though this is a much cooler, much bigger freighter, and I worked hard in the battle to save it, it was not worth buying. So all that was all moot. And, you know, I definitely don't want to sit here and upgrade a freighter that I know I'm going to end up trading later. And that's a problem I've been running into, where even the... And on that note, it's really irritating that the freighters I just happened to come across... Now, I have 31 slots, and we have some other freighter. That one has a landing base, so let's go land on that freighter. This is just a random freighter that's flown into the atmosphere. And I think it looks cool. Oh, there it goes. I thought for a second there it despawned, but I think it looks cool. It looks different because the last 4 freighters I've had have had this where'd it go? Star Destroyer looking physique, and that's cool, but I'm kind of bored with it. I kind of want to get something different. Regardless, it would be nice if some of these cooler looking different freighters, there he is, that's the one, were of a better value than the ones that you get in the space battles. I can understand the space battles being that you have to work towards the highest class, but I'm not up there yet. I'm not there yet. I've got a B class with 31 slots. There's a lot of slots to go. I would rather these freighters that I just happen to come across in passing through a solar system would be of a greater value to purchase and be worth it, because maybe you see one you really like, but as far as I'm concerned, I've never landed on one of these and had it be a higher quality than I already have. In fact, many times it's at a considerably less quality, and I already have to see 15 slots, so not buying this one, and obviously not buying this one, but again, maybe there might be a reason why I want to buy this one. Maybe I need this money more than I need the inventory slots, so it would be nice to have the option to buy this and get that money back. Get that whatever 100 million units back. But unfortunately, the way their system is set up, you only do even trades. And because of that, there's actually a good exploit, but where you can actually use your more expensive ship to get a ship for free, and then immediately turn around and let's go talk to this guy, because I love his little pidgey little ship there. That's I would never fly that or be caught dead in it, but it's just cute. It's a cute little ship there. But here's a good example where I know, like, if I wanted this ship, my ship has a much greater value than it, so if I do a sales trade on it, I get this ship for free. Then all I need to do is take this ship, fly it to my freighter, switch ships, then fly back onto this freighter or space station or the trading post, and my initial ship here will still be there, and even if it's more expensive than the ship I wanted to trade, I will get it for free. And that leads to an easy exploit where it's easy, once you have an expensive enough ship, you can just keep trading it for new ships at much higher values than your other ships on your freighter, thus getting free ships. And I'm not gonna lie, that's actually how I got this A-class ship. I had a really expensive ship, and I just traded for that, and then I went and found my cheapest ship and traded back and got my ship back, and I was able to get this ship for basically free. So yeah, that's an exploit. So that system needs a little work, and it would be nice if I could have, it would have been really nice if I could have bought that freighter. And oh, are we doing this? Are we really doing this? I don't want to. Well, let's get another battle going. Then this video will be more entertaining than my last videos, at least. But yeah, and that allows me to talk a little bit more. You know, let's call authorities, because maybe this other bug that has been popping up will pop up while I'm at it. So, and that bug is that when the authorities fly in, it says hostile ships approaching over and over and over again. See, there it goes again. And there goes the rockets. They worked, but now I'm not going to be able to fire them again until I switch weapons. But there it goes. See, now it keeps repeating that, and I've had it sometimes repeat endlessly, even long after the battle is won, and it'll keep repeating that hostile ships approaching over and over again until I land on a planet and get out of my ship. So this is not a very exciting battle, unfortunately. These guys are very weak, and I didn't even need to call in the authorities, but there's no way I would have known that prior. And then I just shot a sentinel right there, so once again goes back to my previous complaint that the space battles are a little too unwieldy, and if that had made all the sentinels turn on me, that would have been some really bad news for me. But since that didn't happen, I'm just left talking about the fact that it needs some refinement And most of all, you need to not punish so harshly for accidentally misfiring, especially, see right there, that locked onto the wrong ship, even though I was pointed at this ship, it hit that sentinel over there. But yeah, that's the thing. The space battles are really fun and really cool, but they can be upsetting at times. And the last thing I wanted to point out, and I was hoping to point out, is the fact that this freighter has a really cool color. I would have liked this. I haven't seen this kind of color scheme before, but my last freighter, which is, see if I can pull her in here real quick. I'm a little too close to these others, but sometimes it lets you. Yeah, and that's another thing, is it's not really clear about when and where you can warp your freighter in. Let's just go far away. All right, now we should be able to call the freighter. So this freighter, when I purchased it, was black and yellow, and I even have a screen grab. I have found that the way that I edit these videos, I am unable to put screen grabs in. But I did have a screen grab of the ship. It was a definitive black and yellow. And as you can see now, it's either black and blue or black and white. And that is because I've noticed several times that my ships have lost color, and my freighters have consistently lost their color. So that's a bug that needs to be addressed, and it can be frustrating. So I'm covering a lot of bugs and I didn't expect to, and apparently I'm landing on my freighter here. But what was the big issue about one of my ships, my S-class ship, lost its pigment, which was again yellow, so maybe that's the problem, but I don't feel like that's always been the problem. I bought a black and red ship at one point in time, but I think that same issue happened. But I landed on my freighter and was just strolling around and noticed that my S-class ship here, which is yellow, had actually turned that same pale blue or gray or white or whatever that color is on the accents. And when it had turned that color, it was stuck that way, and until I reloaded an old save, did it finally regain its lustrous yellow color. I don't even think I used that word right, but it doesn't matter. But that's another bug that I needed to address, but I unfortunately cannot recreate it or prove it. But it had turned gray, and if I had not noticed that, it is possible I could have saved, and it would have been gray permanently, much like my freighter is now black and gray permanently. So yeah, so we got a lot of issues that I've addressed here. The biggest one is that the main aspect of this video is don't punish so harshly for accidentally hitting the freighter. Yeah, you can even tell from here that that ship is way bigger than my freighter and should have had more storage, but that's the problem with this game, is it seems like so much of it is based on very arbitrary random number generators, and so things don't seem to make sense, and it's not until you spend time working that you find out, like if I had seen that this freighter was a smaller freighter than my freighter, I might not have bothered with the battle. I mean, obviously I will, because the battles are fun, but that's to say, you feel more let down when you see a bigger freighter and then you decide to go and very carefully battle the pirates so you don't piss off the freighter and get locked out, only to discover it wasn't as good of a freighter as your last freighter, and all of that was basically pointless. So that needs to be adjusted. The big thing is stop punishing us so harshly for accidentally chipping the paint on a freighter. Don't have it locked down. Make it so that I have to like definitively bust one of these storage containers open or destroy one of its patrol guardians or whatever before it locks itself down, number one. And number two, stop with what, if you noticed in that video, those ships flew right through the freighter. That's another thing that needs to be fixed, because it's really infuriating trying to fight pirates when they're hiding inside the ship, like that kid we grew up with who was always hanging out by base when you're playing tag, and he's like, you can't get me, you can't get me. So yeah, those are just some more issues I wanted to address since I've gotten into these bug reports more heavily. And so with that, I thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. And if you have any more issues you've noticed like this, or your freighter has changed color and you have any kind of evidence towards it, let me know, and so that we can help work together to report it. Yeah, that freighter, my freighter is tiny compared to that one. That is. Anyways, thank you for watching, and you know, hopefully we see you in another video. So, bye bye.